10 years later, there are only 100 zombies left on Earth.
We're 10 years in now. 10 years. And the dead still have this world.
You really think the world's gonna end?
I know it is.
Hello everyone. This is Jacobson, and this is a short recap of the final episodes of the first season of the zombie series The Walking Dead World Beyond. You can watch the initial episodes at the links in the description. From you likes and comments, and from me a retelling of the second season. Enjoy watching. Silas sits on the ground outside, tied to a swing set. Inside, the group discusses Silas' fate in the wake of Tony's murder. Iris and Elton defend Silas, but Huck points out that they've seen Silas lose his temper and that his wrench was covered in Tony's blood. Huck brings Silas' bag to the group and shows them Iris' drawings, which Silas had salvaged at the university. In a flashback, Silas sits on the floor of his house with bloody hands. He looks at his father, Mer Plaskett, who is bleeding on the ground. Moments earlier, Mr. Plaskett screams at Silas and chokes him for making a mess in the kitchen. Silas stabs Mr. Plaskett in the gut with a picture frame and repeatedly punches him. Silas looks over at Mr. Plaskett on the floor. Someone knocks on the door. In the present day, Huck tells the group that Silas probably attacked Percy because he was jealous about Iris. Huck tells Felix that they should leave Silas behind. Elton eavesdrops on the conversation. Elton assures Silas that he's on his side, noting that Silas only becomes violent when defending himself or someone else. In a flashback, Silas listens to headphones while eating dinner with his parents. Mer Plaskett lunges at Silas and grabs his head when Silas doesn't respond to him. In the present day, Elton warns Silas that the group is thinking about leaving him behind. Hope helps Huck dig a grave for Tony. In a flashback, Silas finally opens the front door. A concerned neighbor tells Silas that she heard a commotion and asks if his father hurt him. Silas assures her that everyone is fine and politely sends her away. Back inside, he discovers that his father's body is gone. In the present day, Felix urges Silas to help prove his innocence and asks if he can trust Silas to be safe around other people. Silas simply says he does not want to be the way he is. In a flashback, Silas looks for Mr. Plaskett in the house. He remembers Mr. Plaskett bandaging up his knee as a young boy. In the present day, Huck tells Hope that it's important to do whatever it takes to serve the greater good, not necessarily what's right or wrong. Iris tells Hope that she still believes Silas is innocent. Hope points out that Silas has made more than one mistake and refuses to compromise their mission for him. In a flashback, Silas looks for Mr. Plaskett in the bathroom and remembers once finding his mother in the bathroom, covering up bruises from Mr. Plaskett. Silas finds bloody tissues in the sink, but Mer Plaskett is gone. He hears a noise upstairs. In the present day, Elton tells Hope that he was looking for Percy with the hope that Percy could exonerate Silas. Hope disagrees and says they must figure out what's best for everyone. In a flashback, Silas finds Mr. Plaskett upstairs and realizes he isn't empty. Silas locks himself in his bedroom. Mer Plaskett pounds on the door. Silas plays loud music as his father pounds on the door. He remembers lying on the floor of his bedroom as a child, listening to loud heavy metal music with his father. He then has a flashback to Mr. Plaskett choking him in the kitchen. He puts on headphones and closes his eyes. In the present day, an empty spots Silas on the playground and bangs against the playground fence. The fence starts to cave in. In a flashback, Silas lies on the ground in his bedroom and finally removes his headphones. It's quiet. He hears his mother enter the house and scream. Silas runs downstairs and finds Mer Plaskett attacking her. In the present day, the empty breaks through the playground fence. In a flashback, Silas pulls Mr. Plaskett off his mother and bashes Mr. Plaskett's head into the ground. Mer Plaskett cries and tells Silas to stay away. In the present day, the empty crawls towards Silas. Silas struggles to escape, then gives up. Hope kills the empty and clarifies that she only saved Silas because enough people have died. Elton tells Iris that everyone should have an equal say in Silas' fate. He says that if they both vote against exiling Silas, then they would just need Felix's vote to keep Silas in the group. In the morning, Iris begs Silas to tell her that he didn't kill anyone. Silas says he doesn't remember anything and declares that he killed his father, Percy, and Tony, and doesn't want to cause her any more problems. Iris goes inside and tells everyone that Silas left. Huck asks Felix if he thinks Silas will change his mind. Felix doubts it and says that maybe Silas can now get the fresh start he always wanted. Elton tells Hope that he's going to look for Silas and join him. He wonders if he is supposed to find Silas, just like he's supposed to find his mother. Hope finally tells him the truth about his mother's death. She gives the marble necklace to Elton and hopes he'll one day forgive her. Elton leaves the building in tears and reels from the news about his mother. He puts the marble necklace around his neck. Silas walks alone through the woods. He leaves his headphones on the road. A CRM officer tells Elizabeth that someone has arrived. Huck, who is revealed as Elizabeth's daughter, enters the room and says she was only able to get away for 48 hours. She tells Elizabeth that the asset is safe. Elizabeth gives Huck her father's watch, so that she won't be late next time. Huck drives at night, lost in thought. In a flashback, Huck debriefs Elizabeth on her covert mission and informs her that the asset is not ready for integration. Elizabeth warns that the mission will face more scrutiny the longer it takes. Huck insists she will succeed but needs more time. In the present day, Iris, Hope, and Felix sleep in the truck as Huck drives. She sees a sign indicating they are 113 miles from Ithaca. In a flashback, Elizabeth urges Huck to do whatever it takes to isolate the asset from others in the group. She gives Huck a watch from her father, who had abandoned them. In the present day, Huck intentionally crashes the truck, waking everyone up. The group walks along the road in the darkness. Huck says there is shelter a mile or two away. In a flashback, Felix conducts an intake interrogation with Huck soon after her arrival at the campus colony. Another officer, Will, joins the interrogation and introduces himself to Felix. Huck says that she doesn't remember much about how she ended up in Omaha. In the present day, Huck's group encounters empties tangled up in barbed wire. They fight the empties in the dark. In the morning, Felix wraps a bandage around his ankle and tells Huck he got cut by wire. Elton sits on top of a shipping crate and stares at his mother's necklace. He grabs his mother's manuscript and angrily rips it apart. Elton tries to salvage the manuscript pages and notices a trail of blood Percy jumps out with. A knife then collapses. Empties close in on them. Huck's group arrives at a house for shelter and splits up to search it. Huck invites Iris to join her. Huck tells Iris that Hope only took fighting lessons with her so that she could run away to Omaha. Iris looks surprised and hurt to hear about Hope's Omaha plans. Huck peeks in a room and immediately shuts the door. She says the scene inside is grisly and warns Iris to stay away. Felix tells Huck that he's well enough to hike through the upcoming mountainous terrain. He privately unwraps the bandage from his ankle wound. In a flashback, Felix and Will kiss in bed. Felix reveals that Dr. Bennett asked him to stay behind and take care of Hope and Iris. He worries that something will happen to Dr. Bennett if he doesn't accompany him to the CRM facility. Will notes that Felix never trusts anyone else to take care of things. In the present, Felix grimaces in pain as he removes the gauze from his ankle. Elton drags unconscious Percy across a field and stops to rest. He imagines Percy talking to him and persuading him to leave him behind. Elton says he's nothing like his mother and says that his mother had no excuse for killing someone, unlike Hope, who was just a little girl when she shot his mother. Elton examines Percy's body and finds a bullet hole in his shoulder. Huck's group walks down a road. Felix falls backwards while trying to hop over a roadblock. The group carries Felix back to the house. Iris and Hope search for a crutch. Huck looks at Felix's wound and says that he won't be able to travel for a while. In a flashback, Felix will eat dinner with Iris, Hope, and Dr. Bennett. Will reveals that he volunteered to join Dr. Bennett's security detail so that Felix won't have to worry about Dr. Bennett. Felix looks shocked. Will tells Felix that he must learn to trust other people. In the present day, Elton begs Percy to wake up and tell him who shot him. Empties approach from across the field. Hope tells Iris that Felix won't be able to travel very far with his injury. Iris asks if Hope is planning to abandon Felix. Hope says they need to make a plan to move forward. Elton drags Percy across the field. He starts to leave Percy behind, then changes his mind. He fights the Empties and defeats them. In a flashback, Iris and Felix say goodbye to Dr. Bennett as he departs for the CRM facility. Felix says goodbye to Will. In the present day, Felix tells the group to continue to Ithaca without him. Huck hugs Felix and promises to come back with help. In a flashback, Huck's group fights Empties in the dark. Huck secretly slashes Felix's ankle in the middle of the fight. Back in the present day, Iris gets angry about the idea of leaving Felix behind. Huck reminds Iris that their mission is to find Dr. Bennett and that Felix is endangering his own life if he tries to join them. Iris walks out. Iris asks Hope if they can trust Huck and points out how quickly Huck abandoned Felix. Hope says that Huck has always been there for her and never judged her, unlike Iris, who judged Hope after learning the truth about their mother's death. Hope wakes Huck in the middle of the night and says they need to leave immediately. She says Iris will never abandon Felix and that she and Felix will only hold them back. Elton finds a walkie in Percy's pocket and tries to radio the group. He taps a message in Morse code. Huck and Hope travel down a road. Huck excuses herself. Huck secretly gets out her walkie and is surprised to hear Elton's voice. Elton says, "You found Percy?" Huck asks where they are. Elton starts to tell her, but Percy wakes up and knocks the walkie away. He says Huck is the person who shot him. Iris wakes up Felix and says Hope and Huck are gone. Huck and Hope keep walking. In a flashback to the previous night, Hope decrypts the book of CRM codes using coordinates on a map. She decodes a message Raft embed agent and route to NYW, asset plus for all for expandable. She realizes that Huck works for the CRM. Felix looks for his gun but can't find it. As Huck walks ahead, Hope quietly reaches for the gun that she took from Felix. In a post-credits scene, at a roadside near a parked CRM truck, a terrified Will runs as a gunshot sounds behind him. Will trips and falls near a grave with an Empty's head poking out of it, as Will gets up and runs off. A gunshot puts down another Empty, and for CRM soldiers chase Will through the woods. At the CRM research facility, Dr. Bennett describes Iris and Hope to Dr. Belshaw, his new girlfriend. Drive Belshaw asks what he would be doing with Iris and Hope if they were all together. Drive Bennett guesses that Iris would be helping someone and that Hope would be getting into trouble. Hope aims her gun at Huck and demands to know Huck's real identity. Silas cooks meat on a grill outside an abandoned building. The grill tips over and starts a fire. Silas takes refuge in a warehouse and sees Elton outside. Silas reunites with Elton. Elton reveals unconscious Percy in a wagon. Felix and Iris speculate about why Hope and Huck left without saying goodbye. Iris tells Felix that she doesn't trust Huck and recalls the room that Huck had warned her away from. Huck admits to Hope that she works for the CRM. Hope tells Huck that she decoded the CRM book and guesses that she is the asset. Empties appear nearby. Drive Bennett asks Dr. Belshaw if she ever heard from their colleague, Dr. Abbott, after his sudden departure. Drive Belshaw says that Dr. Abbott went to visit a sick sister. Hope and Huck fight the Empties. Huck reminds Hope of the fighting lessons she taught her back home. Felix and Iris enter the room that Huck had warned them away from and find it filled with supplies. Iris notes that they could have used the supplies to treat Felix's ankle and fix the truck. Percy tells Silas and Elton that he fled from the group after Huck killed Tony. Silas says they need to save Iris and Hope from Huck. Hope and Huck kill all the empties. Huck tells Hope that she faked the urgent messages from Dr. Bennett to lure Hope away from the campus colony. She says that her mission was to show Hope that the world is worth rebuilding. Dr. Bennett describes Hope's genius to Dr. Belshaw and says that when Hope was 6 years old, she disassembled a computer and reassembled it all by herself. Huck and Hope continue their journey to a CRM rendezvous point. Huck explains that the CRM needs people with Hope's genius to rebuild the world. Silas, Elton, and Percy strategize a plan to find Iris and Hope. Percy vows to avenge Tony. A truck with CRM soldiers parks outside. Felix and Iris fix the truck. Felix teaches Iris how to drive a manual transmission car, since his ankle injury prevents him from driving. Iris lurches down the road. Hope and Huck take shelter. In a house, they hide when they see Felix and Iris park outside. Felix and Iris search the house and find Hope and Huck. Iris accuses Huck of lying about the supply room. Huck insists it was a simple miscommunication and asks for the truck keys to move the truck off the road. She asks Hope to join her. Felix pulls his gun on Huck and demands to know what she's doing with Hope. Drive Belshaw privately rehearses a dialogue in which she informs Dr. Bennett that he will be reunited with Hope in 24 hours. She reveals that she told the CRM about Hope after learning about her genius. She predicts that Dr. Bennett will hate her for involving Hope. Dr. Belshaw sits with Dr. Bennett in front of a fire. Drive Bennett asks what's on her mind. Hope tells Felix and Iris that Huck is with the CRM and urges them to leave if they want to live. Huck grabs Felix's gun. They fight and tumble down the stairs. A lantern tips over and starts a fire. Silas, Elton, and Percy presume that the CRM came to search the area after hearing Elton's radio call to Huck. Silas says he knows a way out. Huck and Felix fight each other. Felix slashes Huck with his weapon. Hope retrieves a gun from the floor. Elton, Silas, and Percy start to sneak away from the CRM soldiers. Percy worries his injury will slow them down and urges Elton and Silas to leave him behind. Silas decides to stay behind and insists that Elton and Percy continue without him. Outside the house, Huck overpowers Felix and is about to kill him when Hope threatens to shoot herself unless Huck stops attacking Felix. She tells Felix and Iris that the CRM needs her help with research and begs them to return home. Silas tells Elton and Percy that he can buy them some time by surrendering to the CRM. He makes his way toward the CRM soldiers. Elton and Percy escape. Felix and Iris say goodbye to Hope. Silas surrenders to the CRM. Felix and Iris watch Hope and Huck drive away in the truck. Drive Belshaw starts to tell Dr. Bennett about Hope's arrival but decides against it at the last minute. Dr. Bennett reveals that he is suspicious about the CRM and worries that Will's scouting expedition has been gone for too long. He asks for Dr. Belshaw's help with a plan to find out if the CRM is deceiving them. Huck and Hope arrive at the rendezvous point. Elton and Percy continue their journey to find Hope and Iris. A CRM helicopter arrives at the rendezvous point. Elizabeth disembarks. She tells Huck that the CRM is searching for Hope's friends and already captured one of them. Huck insists she was going to escort Hope's friends back home, but Elizabeth says she wanted no loose ends. She welcomes Hope to the CRM and escorts her to the helicopter. Felix and Iris walk through the woods. Iris vows to take down the CRM. She recalls Hope's parting words, predicting that Iris would dismantle the CRM. In a flashback, it's revealed that Iris assisted Hope in her moments of genius. Hope looks out the helicopter window. Iris and Felix run into Will in the woods. Will embraces Felix and says he thought they were all dead. He is shocked to learn that Felix is unaware of the massacre at the campus colony. More people emerge from the surrounding mist.